What if I told you that the world's wealthiest individuals are gearing up for something that the rest of us might not even know about? Multi-million-dollar bunkers, remote hideouts in New Zealand, and detailed escape plans are just the tip of the iceberg. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, household names in tech and innovation, are reportedly preparing for apocalyptic scenarios. But the real question is, what do they know that we don't? When it comes to danger, billionaires have always been ahead of the curve, but Gary Corby, a leading figure in the security industry, has noticed an interesting shift. It's not just the ultra-rich anymore. Millionaires, once content with standard security measures, are now inquiring about bunkers and fortified safe rooms. For this market, a few $1,000s can secure a room. Want something more robust? Modular steel bunkers can be prefabricated and installed beneath a new build home for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here's the catch. Even the most secure systems often only buy time. Corby bluntly states, if someone breaks in at night, they'll still get in, but they won't reach the bedroom where the family is safe long enough for the police to finish their coffee and donuts. A grim yet telling assessment of modern-day security. For billionaires, though, the concerns extend far beyond break-ins. The richer crowd is becoming increasingly paranoid about threats to their health. Bioterror attacks, viral pandemics, and even mundane heart failures or accidents are now on their radar. The COVID-19 pandemic only fueled this paranoia, with many clients demanding medical-grade preparedness in their bunkers. Some of these bunkers, designed under the leadership of Corby's wife Naomi, a registered nurse, resemble high-end operating rooms. Think decontamination chambers, shelves lined with personal protective equipment, and pharmacies stocked with emergency medicines. Some even include tailor-made vitamin compounds to help residents survive long periods of isolation. Forget the cliche underground bunker with canned beans. We're talking about mini hospitals buried in backyards. Forget nuclear bombs. Corby says, the real danger is everyday life. If I had $1 to spend on a bunker or on medical preparedness, I know what I'd do. The days when a first aid kit in a prefab bunker was enough are long gone. While the Dow Jones Industrial Average has soared to heights unimaginable in its early days, many of the world's wealthiest aren't celebrating. Instead, they're building bunkers, stocking up on survival gear, and preparing for societal collapse. Some, like billionaire Peter Thiel, are even buying remote properties in countries like New Zealand, a popular getaway for apocalyptic scenarios. Thiel in fact secured both property and citizenship there, cementing New Zealand's status as the billionaire's escape hatch. But the prepping trend doesn't stop at bunkers and hideouts. Steve Huffman, the co-founder and CEO of Reddit, took his preparations a step further by undergoing LASIK surgery. His reasoning? If the world ends, and not even if the world ends, but if we have trouble getting contacts or glasses, will be a huge pain, Huffman explained in an interview with The New Yorker. Huffman didn't stop at corrective surgery. He's also stockpiled guns, ammunition, and motorcycles. The bikes are specifically for avoiding traffic jams during a potential mass evacuation. And if you think this all sounds a bit extreme, consider this. Huffman isn't alone. Former Facebook product manager Antonio Garcia Martinez purchased wooded land in the Pacific Northwest, complete with generators, solar panels, and enough ammunition to make an action movie jealous. You just need so many things to actually ride out the apocalypse, Martinez said. People who truly understand how society works realize we're skating on really thin cultural ice right now. The thin ice analogy resonates with many coastal elites, who feel increasingly anxious about the fragility of the world as they know it. Huffman added, to some degree, we all collectively take it on faith that our country works, that our currency is valuable, that the peaceful transfer of power is guaranteed. But if you look closely, you realize all of these things work because we believe they work. And while I think they're resilient, there's no denying we've been through a lot, and there's a lot more to come. Interestingly, doomsday prepping cuts across political lines. Back when Barack Obama was re-elected for his second term, conservative preppers stocked up on canned goods, gold coins, and products marketed by figures like Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity. Today's preppers, however, are in a different league. With greater resources, they're investing in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and stockpiling precious metals, all in an effort to safeguard their wealth outside the traditional government-controlled systems. Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, estimates that more than half of Silicon Valley billionaires have some form of crisis preparedness plan. This could mean anything from owning a bunker to having a second home or a remote vacation property. And it's not a lonely endeavor. Prepping for them is a shared activity. Networking among the elite ensures they have access to collective resources in case the worst happens. Tim Chang, managing director at Mayfield Fund, likened survivalism among the ultra-wealthy to bowling leagues for the modern age. Chang painted a picture of Silicon Valley's elite bonding over financial hacking dinners and brainstorming escape strategies. We talk about everything from stocking up on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, to getting second passports, to securing vacation homes in other countries that could double as escape havens. Chang shared, "I've got this nightmare scenario where California gets hit by a civil war or a massive earthquake, and I just think we have to be ready." And they're not just ready, they're imagining every worst case scenario and prepping for it. The same tech-savvy mindset that drives innovation in Silicon Valley also fuels their dystopian fears. Roy Bahat, who leads venture capital firm Bloomberg Beta, sums it up: "When you think big, it's easy to envision both utopias and dystopias. And for these tech moguls, hedging against a dystopian future isn't just practical, it's logical." Yishan Wang, former Reddit CEO, explained it like this: "They don't necessarily think societal collapse is imminent, but if you've got billions of dollars, spending a tiny fraction of that to protect yourself from even a remote risk is just smart." Wang himself underwent LASIK surgery, not for vanity, but to ensure he wouldn't be hindered by glasses or contacts in a doomsday scenario. As the pandemic unfolded, the world's richest individuals saw their fortunes balloon like never before. According to the Institute for Policy Studies, IPS, global billionaires raked in a jaw-dropping $4 trillion in wealth during the first year of the pandemic, a 54% increase. While millions struggled, the net worth of the billionaire class skyrocketed from $8.04 trillion to $12.39 trillion between March 2020 and March 2021. Jeff Bezos alone saw his fortune leap from $113 billion to $178 billion, thanks to Amazon's pandemic boom. But not every billionaire thrived. Russia saw a significant drop in its ultra-wealthy class following Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, while China experienced a decline due to government crackdowns on tech companies. Still, the overall trend remained clear. The rich were getting richer, and the wealth gap was growing wider. This widening disparity has reignited calls for a wealth tax. Progressive leaders like Senator Elizabeth Warren and Representatives Pramila Jayapal and Brendan Boyle have proposed an ultra-millionaire tax, a 2% annual levy on households with a net worth between $50 million and $1 billion, plus an additional 1% tax on wealth above $1 billion. Such a measure could generate $1.5 trillion over the next decade in the US alone, according to IPS estimates. Chuck Collins, a researcher with IPS and author of The Wealth Hoarders, argues that taxing the wealth windfalls of billionaires is not only fair, but necessary. "Our pain has been their gain," Collins said. "Even with a wealth tax, they'd still be billions ahead of where they were before the pandemic." While billionaires plot their escape and hedge their bets, the rest of us are left to wonder, what do they know that we don't? Is this just extreme paranoia, or are they privy to some insider knowledge about an impending collapse? Whether it's purchasing fortified bunkers, scooping up New Zealand hideaways, or stockpiling cryptocurrencies, the actions of the ultra-rich send a clear message. If the world goes down, they're not sticking around to help, and the most chilling part, they're prepared for a future where the rest of us aren't even invited. So what's driving this wave of ultra-wealthy individuals to prepare for doomsday? Is it paranoia, or do they know something the average person doesn't? Whether it's the fear of bioterrorism, political instability, or societal collapse, one thing is clear: they aren't taking any chances. The question we should be asking isn't just why they're doing this, but what their actions say about the state of the world. Are these just the eccentric tendencies of the rich, or is there something deeper at play? If the wealthiest among us are preparing for a world where basic systems no longer function, perhaps it's time to start paying attention. Would you build a bunker or buy a hideout if you had the means? Or do you think the billionaires are just overreacting? Let us know your thoughts.